How is everybody doing? Am I coming in fine? A little late on a Thursday. A few people here already, huh? All right. That's going to drive me crazy. Sorry. Thought I'd muffle my mic with my mouse pad, but that doesn't seem to work. All right. 2 in 1 week. Not too bad, not too bad. Hey, I'm Aaron Archer. You're at the Toy Armada Live tonight on a Thursday night where we're just going to talk some toys, open up some stuff. I'm going to try to pull some pictures over maybe. Maybe do some super chat questions if people have any. Want to go deep dive into anything. And I'm going to open the Hiss tank and put it together in a classic style. I have been all over the internet, and I keep finding everybody wanting to put all the missile pods and the modern this, that, and the other on. I am old school, and I'm going to put it together old school. So how about that? All right, I got this dang light in my face, so it is difficult for me to see the chat at the moment. All right. Hey, Ninjatron, Windcharger, T-Formers 2002, Titus, Patrick, how's it going? Got some new people. David, how are ya? Bigum, Dan, hey, Cheesier. Man, got everybody. Everybody was ready to go tonight. So we can just talk about whatever, really. Another thing I wanted to talk about today, because we talked a little bit about Deimos the other night, I pulled out a few of the office toys or things that I've had in my office for years that I find comfort in having around. I don't know if in every case they are collectible or mint or whatever, but for various reasons, I pulled out a few things to show that anyone who's ever been in my offices at work or in my home office would recognize this stuff. Oh yeah, that's always been there. Like the yellow Batmobile. That would be first and foremost. That one goes back to my beginning days at Kenner in 1995. So, yeah, hey, I am trying to be a little bit more in the new year. We're going to do a little bit more podcasting, some live drawing. We'll break up some things into... I want to talk about inspiration and creativity and just maybe some artists and different things, and then designer interviews as well, and then the long forms will continue. So I have some optimistic things to try to do in the new year if you guys are willing to go for the ride. So yeah. Yeah, right? That plain glass canopy. I mean, I believe, this is a creative belief of mine, so we'll go on a little journey here. If you're going to already suspend your disbelief that a ruthless terrorist organization called Cobra is going to, outfit themselves in a uniform that has ranks and stuff and all Cobra stuff all over it, if you're going to go along for that, yeah, flying pods and glass canopies and DNA scientific stuff, magic, that's kind of the fun of what G.I. Joe Cobra is. I never wanted to think of it as too close to real stuff, but yeah, I'm definitely putting that big glass canopy on it. It's ridiculous. I think if you watch enough of these, I like the ridiculous. So hey Brodo, what is up? All right. So yeah, if I'm Aaron Archer, if you haven't met me before, I was a toy designer at Hasbro Kenner for almost 20 years and been a toy freelancer for last several years. You can check out my stuff on archermonster.com and archermonster_creative on Instagram. If you found yourself here, like, subscribe, check out our long forms. We talk about the toy lines that from a professional level that we actually worked on. Fan opinion is awesome, but I'm trying to bring some inside stories to the mix. So I'm glad everybody has shown up. I even, you can kind of tell here, I moved all my kaiju and vinyls that kind of got redeployed, so Ghidorah is there now. So I could put the Hiss tank there and display it. So that is definitely something we're going to do tonight. And then I took pictures of Deimos. I didn't download them though, so I don't know if they will pop up for me. But when I made room on the other shelf, one thing that I haven't ever shown, oh jeez, is that was hidden back there. So I am just a fan of giant robots of any kind, and then I also collect stormtroopers, so that's a double whammy for me, that one. But I thought I'd show that. Have you ever experienced the G.I. Joe crossover toys? I'm amazed at how much they've captured the field. No, I have not. I've seen them, and I love the packaging often. But no, the last few years I haven't had the moving around and stuff, haven't had the interest or ability to really find that stuff. So, looks cool. Before anyone in toys shared the behind-the-scenes point of view, you did. Yeah, maybe. One of my point of view often, and why I even do this, is there's so many little things. Like if it's the idea, if on a map and you're targeting a target and you're off by 1 degree, but it's 10 miles out, you're going to be way off by the time you get to where you want to be. And I would see little details that just the overall fan base or generalities around toys and just kind of slight misunderstandings or a slight different thing. And I just want to kind of cross some T's and dot some I's for everybody so that we can, talk more directly in a way. So anyway, thank you. Yeah, I didn't get the Shogun Boba Fett. Again, I was moving around and I got rid of my other Shoguns. I just kept the Stormtrooper. But yeah, definitely. Hey, Baron. First time on your stream. Big fan of your stuff. Since Batman. Nice. Thank you. I cut my teeth on Batman, so I'm very proud of all the goofy stuff we did back then, and I made lifelong friendships during that time. So anybody ever want to talk about Batman, I will talk likely. I know it's not everyone's favorite topic, 90s Kenner Batman, but I could dine on some topics on that. So, wow, I'm glad everyone is here. We got a pretty good amount. I appreciate it. Let's get into some stuff. Let's do this Hiss tank, yeah? Might as well. We'll answer questions while I'm doing it. Bear with me while I try to make room. And all right, if I go in and out of the mic, I think you guys will understand. I'm not going to go crazy showing all of this, but we'll open it up and get it together. I already took the stickers off one side. I thought. I guess there's more than the ones I took off. All right, so for anybody who hasn't seen it by now, it's a pretty big box. Not as big as Unicron. There is no way, I gotta be honest, there is no way in heck I would have room for that thing. And what would I do with it? And I don't know. that one is amazingly wild to me. Anybody have the Unicron? What do you do with your giant box, and how much of it of your basement does it fill up? All right. So, for everybody who hasn't seen this by now, it's packaged in 2 parts. There's the action figure. Pretty cool little action figure briefcase in a way. Fuck. Sorry. Yeah, this is going to be a future home of a Posca painting. No doubt. No doubt. One thing everyone should know about me is I am not a mint in box. If you don't know this already by now, I am not a mint in box person. I might keep the boxes around. I might flatten my Lego boxes. But just like cool guy sneakers. Sneakers are meant to be worn. And if you're not wearing them, it's just another thing. Okay, cool. So I wear some pretty fly sneakers sometimes that people are like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you're not supposed to wear those out. And they are sneakers. Okay, so anyway, boxes are meant to be open to get to the thing you originally like. Otherwise, it's just a big lump. You might as well just pretend something's in there and they don't even have to make it. Let's just put air in there and a cool box. Like, it doesn't make sense. Anyway, that's my point of view. Everybody can have their own, of course. Ugh. All right. So, and they really do it up. I mean, there's no reason, in some regards, this much detail has to go into these boxes. That's pretty cool stuff. But that little attention to detail is very nice. Is very nice. All right, how's my sound as I keep sneakers are for sneaker, and I agree. I got a couple I probably won't wear, but those were gifts or something, or they have art on them. Someone actually did art. I won't, probably won't rock those. But, what are you supposed to do? All right. So I'm going to turn a light on here. Get a little brighter. All right, that's the chin gun. That is not classic. Not needed. That is the modern sides. Again, not the route I'm going. I am very happy with the slab sides. So we'll open those up. Won't even worry about the other ones. There's canopies, so there is nothing wrong with this. I was around for this era, and we definitely wanted to jazz it up. Real nightmare to paint all that trim on a clear window. This piece alone there's a lot of cost in this piece alone, being clear and all that painting and a hinge that you need to have engineering quality plastic. This piece right here was part of your investment. You know what? I'm into Nikes, but I'm into anything. I did a lot of the custom stuff back in the early 2000s. I had a really cool black on black Puma custom that I made from there, kind of Nike ID like thing. All right, look at that. You know what? I'm not gonna quite open that up yet until I'm really ready. Let's get this big thing of toy out. All right, how's my sound? Yeah. You can buy stuff for investment. I mean, don't get me wrong. We all hope to do that or redeploy it. But man, if you're gonna spend your hard-earned money on it, my attitude in general is let's at least see it. Let's put it on display. All right, look at that. They did a lot of care to make sure it didn't get scuffed and scratched. That's for sure. Those cardboard inserts mean that stuff's the track here is not getting extra pressure on it and gonna deform while in transit. You don't want that on that kind of material. So that cardboard there is probably so it doesn't rub on something and change its shape. Little toy stuff there. All right, got the gunner pod for the top, so we'll put that on. Got the missile pods again. I'm not gonna put those on. They are not right away anyway. You know, I'm not bad mouthing these things. I'm just gonna put it together the way my childhood was. So that's how I'm rolling with it. And there's the guns. So I'm gonna tell a funky little story, but I got a Hiss tank when I was a kid, and it became one of my favorite vehicles, but I didn't actually get it as a gift or for Christmas or anything. I was in Cub Scouts with another guy who lived up the road, and we were both in the G.I. Joe, and he came to me at Cub Scouts, and he was like, hey, you got a vamp, right? And I was like, yeah, I do. And he's like, you want to trade for the Hiss tank? And I was like, well, you know, I was young. I didn't know a lot about trading. But I was like, okay, you know. So apparently his grandfather, who lived with him, was a World War II Holocaust survivor and did not appreciate the tank. And the G.I. Joe Jeep type thing was fine, but the Cobra tank was not cool. So I got my first Cobra Hiss because of that, which, you know, different strokes there, but and that's how I started my fascination with this form, because there's nothing like it. This triple kind of tread pattern with the overhang cockpit, you know, kind of gunner tank. Again, I love stuff like this. It just, in the real world, it doesn't make sense, but it's just beautiful design, language. You know, I loved all the stuff in those early days. How's that for the audio? You know, this one really stood out. The Fire Bat. You know, there's definitely more than just this one, but this was my favorite. And I still draw stuff a little bit cockeyed like this because of that. That's really cool. They went the extra mile to put kind of the sticky plastic on there. But there it is. Everybody's going on and on about the cockpit, which I agree is very, very nice. Yeah, they did a good job. They did a real good job. It feels robust, you know. Like anything, you know, I'm sure I could nitpick, you know. I wish it maybe had a little more detailed deco or something, but that would just be a nitpick. Being a classic guy, which is, you know, no, I'm not saying I'm better or worse than any. We all have our opinions. So being a classic Hiss guy, I could do without the light up stuff. You know, that's not going to float my boat exactly. But it, you know, it's cool. I'm not from a toy design standpoint, totally what they needed to do. So dug those out. Pretty cool. They have all the iconography of the old style. Oh yeah, Captain Scarlet. Come on. Absolutely. Absolutely. Those are fun. Those are fun. I like a non-serious, aggressive vehicle, which is probably my Transformers epitaph. If I had to have one, kind of goofy vehicles that are a lot of fun. You know, Lenny has this idea of toys should be ridiculous because they're toys. And I never put it in those terms, but I totally always agreed. Like, you can always do a replica something. You can. You might have to get a license and all that. But, oh my goodness, like if you have a chance as a creative person to jazz up a jet or make a cooler ninja bike or super sports car, go for it. Wow, go for it. I never understood kind of a replica model for me. All right, that popped in there pretty easily. So that's side one. Never had to cradle my toys as I put them together, but goes on there pretty straightforward. You know, it's not hard to guide it in. That's good. All right. I'm supposing there's maybe there isn't an instruction sheet. I guess it's oh, wait a minute. I bet it's in this thing. Yep. All right. So there is an instruction sheet. With the stickers and everything else. All right. I don't want to look at those figures just yet. Just yet. So here's the deal. I am not... So because this is my favorite vehicle, it's the only reason I supported this thing. I'm not a 6-inch guy. I grew up in a different era. That's fine. You know, if you're into that. You know, I'm just my older era. I kind of like the cleaner everything. So I had to get this. So this is like this will really the only 6-inch scale item I have. I have a sand person up there because again I like sand person, and I got a War Duke, but I just don't have the space for that scale of item at all. Look at that bad boy. That went on really well. Very straightforward. I don't have to really feel like I'm stressing anything. Not too bad. Not too bad. Good detents on those guns. That's fun. That's fun. Get a sense of that. You know, goes together really, really nice. When I was a kid, I would pop that thing off and it became like a floating pod for my Cobra guys, and then I would throw Joe's in there and it'd be my jail. So the fact that, you know, they've opened up the back with the adjustable seat and weapons rack, pretty cool. Fold down bumper there, that's a nice subtle feature. And the toe, hopefully there's something coming with the toes. Yeah. Let's see. Some questions coming around. Yeah, I'm cradling this thing. I mean, let's call a spade. I am happy that we have this. I'm happy that I could get this for, you know, $300. I guess in the world we live in, I'm fairly happy with that price and the figures and everything. It was worth that. But you're darn right. I don't want to scuff it, drop it, crack it, snap it, flip it. You know, rub it. So that is the downfall. It's like these ultimate collections. You know, I don't. My son is not into this kind of stuff, so I don't think he's going to want to bother with it. So that is another thing. But if I had a little bit younger kids, I don't know about that one. I don't know if I'd want this one out. So let's see. So I don't think Not going to do the chin gun. Not going to do those. And then, I don't know if I should do the side gun and the, I guess it's like a gunner's shield. I'll wait. I'm going to wait because I want it to look old school for it. Yeah, missile trailer would be cool, and then, you know, then I'll have to get all those characters. I'm gonna go to my local toy store one of these days, and I'll get. I gotta put like a Baroness, or I can get her on sale pretty well, right, these days, or somebody in the gunner station here. I don't know if I'm gonna put that Hiss driver. I might sell the ones again that aren't classic. I'll pass that along to people who are more hardcore into it, collecting these days, because I don't really need to display it. Again, I understand it has value, so I'll just pass it on. Alright. Felt like it was scary. But in the end, it worked out really well. Alright. Alright. Wow, look at that. That is nice. Yeah, that's classic. Now, that line is complete. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's a lot more snake-like in this form. They did a nice job with that. Underneath, pretty straightforward. Has that light there. This is where the undergun goes. And I guess this is on the side, some sort of side ladder, so you can pose the figures getting up into it. So it's not as bad as getting into a Michael Bay Transformer vehicle. I tried to get into Ironhide once, and you needed like a full ladder to get into it because they didn't build any actual steps. Kind of crazy. So I'm gonna get these labels off to the side. I'm not gonna worry about that and all this stuff. So it's nice to get an option. Hit all the tiers, so we got extra stuff. Just not the stuff I need today. Alright, so we got this guy. I'm gonna set him over here for a second. That worked out fine. Alright. So they kind of made sure these were snug. It's pretty cool, I guess. So they got the original G.I. Joe designer, Ron Rudat, to do a new figure, which is awesome. We never really were able to engage him back in the day. I think that's printed. Is that really signed, or is that just printed signed? It's hard to tell. I think it's just printed signed. But that's cool. That guy deserves his props and respect, and you know, he changed a generation of minds with his creations and characters and stuff, and they got added to by Larry and all that. So you know, having him be figure 100 that's pretty awesome. With a new Cobra Hiss tactician. Awesome. Then they got the Hiss driver, which I will open. And then they have the gunner, which is basically the female Hiss driver, which, because she's not classic, I'm not sure if I'll hang on to that one. I'll probably pass that one along so that I can buy other plastic stuff. And I got Cobra Commander here with the, you know, misprint, or Mickey Mouse, whatever you want to call it, logo, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I'm not going to open this guy. That's too cool in general, of a collectible. Pretty nice. I'll definitely have to get a better way to secure it, though. Sitting in this box doesn't seem very good. If I get rid of these other things. Anyway, so that's pretty cool. I like that they went the extra mile of printing on that box. Both boxes have Cobra stuff on them, which, you know, is totally unneeded, but very cool at the same time. Get that off to the side. All right. Are we having fun? Have we gotten any new people? Sorry, we're kind of opening up a His Tank today. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not dropping the thing if I can avoid it. Oh, I'd be so scared of that Unicron falling over. I probably would never have taken that one out of the box. If I had the Unicron, I wouldn't. I've told this story, but I had my finger over the button for the Unicron, and I just stopped, and I was like, man, me and my son have a lot of fun with Lego, and that's a lot of Lego for $600 or whatever it was. And that was my ultimate decision. I decided me and my son needed the toys more than me. But couldn't pass up the His Tank. So hooded or metal mask Cobra guy, I thought it was part of his story. Like, in certain conditions, he puts the battle mask on, and the other conditions, he's hooded. So I don't have a preference because it's the same guy, like kind of off duty, on duty. They both look cool. I understand by today's standards, some people don't like the hood as much, but I like both of them. Always have. Get an old Kenner Batman in the His Tank. Yeah, I'm probably not that wacky. I'm probably gonna try to set everything up as correctly as possible and then just be done with it. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of us have seen the people that pull the Unicron around in a stroller at the TFCon. It's so big it fits in a baby stroller, which is wild. All right. Must be his weapons. Ooh, look at you. That's pretty cool. You even have the artwork in there in that little box. That's kind of funky. Again, very nice. I'm not sure it's needed, but very nice. Oh man, I just went blank. But we had a co-op a long time ago who taught us at Hasbro. He was a fan, and he was like, we were at BotCon one year opening up a bunch of products, and he's like, why don't you just cut the twisty ties with toenail clippers? Because that's what all the fans do. And we were like, what? We had no idea. Again, we were toy people, not living in the same reality that you guys do. So all of a sudden, we were using toenail clippers at Hasbro, which was pretty funny. I'd worked there probably 8 years, maybe more, actually, before that came into our understanding. Stupid. All right, that worked out. I like that artwork. I don't know who the artist is. That's pretty cool. Definitely makes it worth all keeping, I suppose. All right. Yeah, yeah. No, it makes sense. I mean, if you're opening a lot of products, especially you guys that like had to open things to get them home because there's no way you could carry that many boxes in your luggage or in the cars that you and 15 of your friends would drive in. Yeah, I get it. All right. Wow. What in the wide world of sports is this? Look at that. Some custom printed baggie. I love it. I love it. Ridiculous there again, but I love it. Wow, I'm not messing with that. We're getting scissors, people. We're getting scissors. Might even go one better. The old X-Acto. That way I do not have to ruin this awesome little baggie here. That's fun. What is this? Oh, other hands. Okay. And his weapon. So here's the other thing with the 6-inch figures. I don't know about all these other hands and whatnot. I get it. They're fun to pose, and I'm sorry for the audio there. That must have been annoying. Sorry. Sorry. So, got his weapon there. A little pistol, which goes into his little side holster there. Alright, nice. Yeah, and then he's got closed fist kind of battle hands. So, I don't know what I will do with those. Again, this box has printing on it too. The little attaché case of some sort, which is fun. Yeah, but Noble 0563, I have not picked up any of those collabs. I don't collect toys the same way you guys might. If I came across one or was given one, I'd certainly rock it or something. But I don't have the. I chase down books and artwork and maybe odds and ends art, maybe some art toy stuff, but not probably not Hasbro stuff. Yeah, here we go. I've added another channel. We got the cat channel. Cat was here. The book channel, ASMR channel. What was the other one the other day? Something's bound to work. I was hoping to make the trip to LA, but some things changed around, and I won't be at LA, but I will be at Toronto. And I've been invited to Baltimore. I just haven't decided if that's going to work out with my schedule yet. It's kind of long-range planning, and I just don't know yet. So thank you for that question, Grand Galvatron. Hey, I'm Aaron Archer. You found yourself at the Toy Armada Live tonight. We're opening a Hiss tank. I'm going to talk about some of my office gems that I like to have around me for inspiration. We're answering some Transformer questions. I'm doing my best to have awesome sound effects, and that's about it. Getting into the holiday, and just vibing. When you're done with your X-Actos, get them out of the way. That's how you don't get cut. That is how you don't get cut. All right, so got this guy and pistol there. Pretty cool. This was one of my favorites as a kid. It was like the first. It was a little bit while before the Crimson Guard came out, so like one of the first red characters, which was really cool. And also why I like the villains from the British version of G.I. Joe, the Baron and all of that. I really dig that whole Red Army vibe in that fantasy part of this. But that's a whole different topic for a different designer, because I don't know enough about it. Have I missed any questions or anything? If you have a particular something we really want to talk about, hit me up with the super chat, and it'll pop up easier for me. But looks like everybody's just excited about the Hiss tank and whatnot. Yeah, I definitely don't plan on dropping this thing. I don't know. No, I won't buy the Primus. Again, I just don't have the space for that kind of stuff, and planets aren't my vibe as far as big toys go for me. In spite of making Unicron and whatnot, the first one. So that's just my personal. Again, I'm not a toy collector the same way you guys might be. So I'm not going to naturally react the same way that you guys are. It doesn't mean I don't like these things. I understand why they get made, and I think they're cool. Otherwise, I would slag off on them. I'm just not going to purchase them. So that's kind of how that goes. Did you have anything to do with Transmetal Tiger Hawk? No, I was nearby the team that worked on it. I remember them picking out the colors and stuff, the blue color chip chrome. I remember them working hard on that relationship, and how that all happened. Kind of an interesting combo of characters and how that all worked out. Very emotional, right? And they spent some time on that. Hey, Shari, how are you? Just want to say that we appreciate these streams. Hey, thank you. I've missed doing them. Is that 2 pounds? I appreciate that. I miss doing them. I just had so much family stuff going on on Friday nights that it just was kind of unfair for my family for me to not only disappear but ask them to all be quiet when there's all kinds of things that they should be doing on a Friday night that cause noise, which is fine. So I just, but the school year started, and Monday was also tough to figure out, but we're halfway through the year now, so I think I got it so that we'll get some more lives in. I appreciate everyone showing up here. Do I know what happened to the prototypes? Well, Takara probably has them if there are prototypes. They didn't necessarily just linger around. There was a whole process for the prototypes. That's why you don't really see them around too often. So I would say Takara, Tomy, if they still are maintaining all that level of models in some sort of archive, they would have it. Did you have any third-party experience with Transformers? Do you have one you like? No, I don't. For a long time, I've just stayed away from it. But at this point, it's kind of a third pillar of the fandom. There's Takara, there's Hasbro, and there's third-party stuff. So I'm going to be just, I hope it's made well. I hope it's made with intent. And they don't break, and everybody's satisfied. I'm obviously going to be charmed with the Armada and Unicron trilogy characters that are out. So Fans Hobby sent me both color versions of the Megatron and the Optimus Prime, and the first Megatron, which was very nice of them. Very cool to see that kind of a commitment was put out by a third party. But I'm respectfully still a Hasbro person, regardless of how much has changed. That I try not to disrespect the core IP and the core IP holders, and not so into the other stuff. But it's impressive. It's impressive. So mini diatribe there, Baron. Yeah, there's an Activators Rodimus, yeah. Did you work on Transmetals Ramulus? I did not. There again, I do remember a guy named Tim Bradley, who I've gotten in contact with. I believe he did that one. and I'm going to get him on one of these, and we're going to have a little interview back and forth. He was only there about a year and a half, but he was on Jurassic Park and Beast Wars and a little bit of Animorphs. And, he's got a different entire arc of creativity in his career. And there's this little bit where we're going to talk to him about his toy time. He does illustrated books, and he did big animatronic dinosaurs and different. He's done it all. So we're going to get him on, and he could talk about that era, Romulus, and some of the other characters he did. Man, that Takara archive is a pretty amazing thing. I've been privy to them pulling some stuff out on the table a few times, and old illustrations, old models, old concepts, tooling models in wood, real gouache illustrations. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Cat's back there causing grief. What was your favorite memory working with England's Hasbro team? I went there twice. I have two generational things. It was a different kind of crew, which was nice. They were bonded together. They were a tight crew, and my favorite part, honestly, was playing soccer with them. And we almost won the internal team. They had multiple teams from different disciplines within the building. And the design team almost won with 2 Americans on the team. We got to the final. And me and Steve Bono were on that team. And, man, that would have been the best championship I ever won had we got away with that one. That really would have been something. I would have dined on that for years. I once won a soccer tournament in England, I would have dined on that for years. Wasn't meant to be. But we did a good showing. We were not made fun of and condemned or kicked off at any point. So we held our own. So that was nice to know, too. You can be an American and go over to England and play on synthetic surface with friends and not get your ass kicked. So there you go. Yeah, they might have given us some slack. Did you have any involvement in that really strange Transformers Chevy Aveo collab figure? Absolutely. Absolutely. That was just basically a classic licensing deal. And these companies, sometimes they have so much money in their marketing budget that things like, oh, we want to have a toy that goes along with this and the promotion and this, and we're like, well, it's going to cost this if you want full ownership of the molds and everything. That's why you've never seen it redecoed, because those molds are actually owned by Chevy. So, and they had the budget to pay for a whole tool, and pretty impressive. And that's what they wanted. That's what they got. Executed it, and that was that. And then how they dealt with it, how they eventually tried to get rid of all those items that they bought. That's a whole nother story that I had nothing to do with. But yeah, definitely. It was a very strange thing, especially because it was a European thing on top of that, which European Transformers were just a different animal at that time. Soccer is more fun, is better than American football. Different reasons. One's like Warhammer, and one's like a dance. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about soccer, because I will tell you that I was at a FA Cup game the year of the treble, and I can go on and on if you want me to. But was Energon Dreadwing or Mirage Design first? Energon Dreadwing was my first Transformer. No, definitely Dreadwing, with the purple and the golds and the, whatever. Mirage was definitely the redeco, and I keep looking for the Gundam model that I totally aped the silhouette and colors of for then Mirage. So not I aped the silhouette for Dreadwing, And then, do I have that right? Yeah, and then I aped the colors also of it for the Redeco Mirage. Not aped, but inspired by. Okay, and that's why I want to find the picture. If I copied something, I probably wouldn't be talking about, oh, I want to show you what I copied. I want to show you what I've been inspired by, because I think it'd be very informative to be like, oh, okay. It was a Gundam that had these long kind of pipe thruster things that would hang back, and it gave the same silhouette when the boat hull was hanging there. And it was just like that kind of gray camo blue, Japan Defense Force kind of vibe or something. Anyway, I got to track it down. I just got that Swerve for a few dollars at a thrift store. Oh, wow. The Yaveo? That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a find. That's definitely a find. That's really interesting. Thanks for sharing the time and the answer. Well, that's why I'm here. I wanna try to inform people. I like I think of it as a convention panel. You know, a weekly convention panel when I do it, to answer questions, hopefully solve some things, give more insight to the full picture that you guys clearly care about knowing. And I was there, so I'm happy to talk about it. I'm glad I have something to be associated with, like Transformers and the Transformer fans particularly, because you guys are a good group of people, and we have a good time talking about this stuff, and we can talk about toys and fantasy and product development and Japan. There's just a lot of we talk about plastic quality a lot, don't we? Processes of plastic. You guys over the years know a lot, so it's worth talking. It's a lot of fun talking to you guys. I'm gonna look that up. Zeta Gundam 3A type, maybe. Yeah, and I mean Gundams are great. They're also like different than Transformer because they're more war machines in their own way, let alone being driven. But it can be really, because of the different types, for the same reason I liked BattleTech as a kid. Do you want to go fast and not have as much armor, but if you hit them right, boom, they're done. But if you get hit, you're toast. Or do you want to be heavy and not be able to move, but no one's going to be able to stop you for a while? It's that kind of thing. That's what Gundam's fun for, and you can redeco those a lot of different ways. You mentioned that you like Lego. Would you have loved to work with Lego or design your own Lego sets? I'd interviewed with Lego, and honestly, my wife says I messed it up. I was committed to doing something else, and I didn't want to fly out there until a following week. But I guess that might have been the wrong answer, because I never got flown out there again, or talked about it. So had the phone interview, but that was that. It is cool that Joe's there. There's a few people that were on the Transformer team that are working there. Another marketer as well, and someone that did some entertainment stuff is now at Lego. So everybody runs around in the toy business, and if you bounce around, you run into all kinds of people you've worked with in the past. Yeah. The Gundam influence, it's not overt at times, and it's just all the robot stuff. When I was in Japan, I was an American who loved Shogun Warriors, so we can go back to that. And was finally in Japan, so I was taking it all in, whatever was new, like Robot Alchemist or Cowboy Bebop stuff was still going. One Piece. They had a few others. Robot things were happening too, but I don't want to mispronounce the names. But it was just really cool and just taking it all in. Zoids was a good show. Zoids is a great concept, just in general, for toys and storytelling. Not trying to be Saying any era of Zoids is right or wrong, I don't really know it that well, but it's just a platform. Seems to me like it has a lot of potential. Yeah, Zoids, and the Zoids guys were always pretty cool, because I worked, analogous with that. What was the Energon Meg's jet based off of? If there's anything that it's based off, it looks familiar. Nothing entirely. The front of that thing didn't get translated as well as maybe, or it didn't come out the way in my head maybe I thought it would. I can't put any blame on anybody, but because it makes it that, and then the combination of the way the wings angle back and forth, with the kind of arch in them, it looks like a goose. There's no way around that. Some sort of duck. It's not really based on any particular jet other than trying to be a heavy gun kind of jet. Something that was probably slower but more powerful. Was and we called it a gunship as its alt mode. But we were just trying to be dynamic, and I think we cared about the robot on that one a little bit more than the vehicle in a way. So that I don't think it was based off anything. Short answer, I don't think it was directly based off anything. Yeah. Well, and then I just saw the Energon Armada, or Energon Megatron, is that tiny scale, and that's really funny to me. I got to get that. I really got to get that. Your TFCon panel was great, Coltron. The one in Florida, the Florida one felt really good. I got to, those were some good questions, some good answers. Whole different crowd, I see a lot of the people at Toronto, so they've heard some of my answers. They probably know my attitudes. So there's certain questions that come up or not. The Orlando one was just fresh, different group of people, and kind of had a whole different angle on the questions, which was kind of fun. Evan records that stuff. I'm hoping that we get a good record, because there's the answer about how do you get into the business and stay positive and everything. I think I summed up my ideas pretty well on that one, so I'd like to revisit that and put it out somehow. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Zoids is always in the back pocket. Yeah, if I think of the Japanese, they're going to be more dedicated that it's a model kit, because it's a model kit concept to them, not an IP. And if model kits aren't hot, or maybe model kits are more expensive or less expensive, that's when you'll see it. When it makes sense that way. Shari, is there any toys you worked on that you wish you could do different now? Oh, there's always. I mean, any creative person, a painting I did 10 years ago, I'd like another crack at. So a toy I did 20 years ago, sure. I think any creative person's gonna say yes to that. But I don't know. I've looked back on the long haul. I think Takara colors on some of the items, particularly in Armada, were probably better. The flashier colors. Wish I didn't use gold, on the mold, obviously. But no particular toys necessarily. I don't look at something. I don't have any that I look at and really go, oh man, what were we thinking? The Skyboom team, I wish there was more detail on those vehicles. They're a little soft on the edges. Colors I picked don't help. But, very minor things like, I wish I had 1/10 of a millimeter more detail, woe is me. But you asked. Oh, yeah, that's cool. If there's a crossover kind of thing coming. Monster Hunter's fun enough. So I had Zoids in the 70s or the early 80s when they originally came out, in America anyway. I had a couple of the smaller sets because I always had the smaller sets. The way my family rolled, we had 3 kids, and we got a lot of the little smalls. We rarely got the big things on stuff like that. So I remembered them fondly too. So let me, I'm going to get this guy into this. And then it'll be continued to see who I get as a gunner. How's this seatbelt work? Cats. Anyway, I don't know how this is supposed to go. I'm just gonna put him in there on top of the seatbelt, like an idiot. That's not. All right, that's gonna take more time than I want to deal with right now. So I gotta figure out how that seatbelt opens up, if it does open up. So just put him in the gunner station there. All right, I wanted to show a few of the other things. Yeah, you wish there was a wind charger in Armada. I bet you do. I bet you do. It's funny, that name didn't come up too often, did it? One toy I really want to give you props on was the dark saber you guys designed. I loved that as a kid. You know, let's just take a half step, and I don't want to sound cocky at all. I do not think the dark saber is a brilliant thing. It's a good kid thing. What is that? Oh, it's a dark saber. Oh, that sounds bad. Oh yeah, it is. But Star Wars is using it, and that's awesome. I'm like, oh yeah, we used to have that trademark, didn't we? But just one of those things. So it's just a cool word, and I'm cool. It's cool other people think so. So thank you. There are a few bots with working tank treads, like Armada Scavenger. Yeah. The linking things, again, we weren't trying. So with tank treads in general, this is a topic. We weren't really ever. There were multiple things in play. That's extra engineering to have all those things link up correctly, stay connected. If they get disconnected, can they be back together, or do they break? The whole track system that they got to stay on the wheels or the rims. That has its own complexity. You can do it with a single piece, like you said, with some sort of rubber or softer durometer plastic. You could do that. But when you do that, it seems, again, I've talked about this a little bit, it seems extra. It seems like an extra big feature. So if the other items in that assortment don't have that, then it seems a little off-putting. It's not a primary feature often. So like in the Armada era, we were going after the Minicon features. So that kind of track thing, it's just surprising that we did it on Scavenger the way we did. I think it was the early development with a lot of stuff on the table. We liked that one, and so we went with it. It really wasn't about, we weren't thinking too deep at that point on tank treads, but it worked out on that. So added complexity, throws the balance of feature off a little bit. Worry about linkaging and breakage. So those are the factors why you don't see it in Transformers as much. Also, as you're transforming things, that tread being stuck there and moving, you don't want that to be a potential frustration, right? So Hope that answered your question, Timu. Thanks. That was a good one. 2084, we all know. So far it is announced. Is it what? Yeah, the dang cats, man. I went and got them food and everything, but they must still be hungry. Yeah, I got a KS there. Yep, because I still like big robots. So some of the things that are always in my office. Let's talk about that real quick. We all have been talking about this guy in different episodes. Not terrible, pretty, by all standards, decent stickers on this one. Do not have his upper scythe things. Don't have his bottom missiles, and my guy here is missing a set of wheels, which kind of always makes him a little bit of a lean. He's a leaner, but even the back sticker is pretty good on that guy. That's where it gets rubbed usually. So that's one of the items that I seem to always have in my office. I have had this since about, I don't know. You tell me how long I've had this. I don't have the hands for it anymore. Somewhere along the way, I've managed to get some sort of gun that matches. I don't know if that's the original. Busted foot. The dang thing is pretty near yellow instead of white at this point. Yeah, so this guy's been around my block for a long time. Hence, I told you I collect stormtroopers, so kind of goes back to this original dude. Back when toys were toys, right? How do figures go through quality control? Like if you use a transformer, for example, how much thought goes into plastic quality, joints, or just general wear and tear? I will give you a general answer on that. Different hinges, pivots, expectations of movement all have, call it a book of standards, that you have to have a certain amount of weight, pressure per, so many pounds per whatever, before something should disconnect or break or, separate. Or so when you are doing that, you also have to pick the correct plastics that can work together or not shear under that condition. Or that's why you always see softer material on action figure arms, because you want it to have the pliability, but then you can lock them in with the hard plastic and sonic welding. So you want a hard ABS for the torso, at least, traditionally. So that all factors into it. You can't, for instance, that's why you don't see often translucent hinges in Transformers. They get too small and they can get too brittle and they break, and that's not good. That's one example. Other ones aren't popping into my mind right now. But that is, the goal is to have the product safe and function the way it's supposed to function. And that means you really have to think it through. And when we would sign off the engineering plans, we would have mold finish, we'd have color, is it shiny, is it matte? Is it supposed to be ABS? And oh yes, okay, and what does that mean? Or it's some other material that can't be painted, and we all agree, yeah, those parts aren't going to get painted, So all of it is thought through, yeah. And then there is the QA of it. Once it gets made, they pull on it and tug on it and do the wear and tear and all of that. Yeah, that's all part of it. Who was your favorite figure from the Transformers Star Wars crossover series? I really didn't study those in great depth, so I'm not sure I have a good answer They all were unique in their own way. I mean, when you have to, they had to do the impossible. They had to have a very good Star Wars vehicle that somehow, regardless of that Star Wars vehicle, spindly or big or thick or thin, had to then make the character that was represented by that vehicle, which could have been a totally different thing. You know, when we would make a car, we knew it would be a skinny and, you know, maybe like a sports car, you know, maybe a skinny and sharp kind of guy that, or character that maybe wouldn't have a big barrel chest or giant forearms, you know, because those forms don't work that way. But if we had a dump truck, then we could get that form. And we wouldn't care, because the robot, you know, whatever robot you can get out of the form is great. And you cater it to that then. With the Transformer or Star Wars part of that, you know, that's very difficult. So I don't, that made that project extra difficult too. So like, you know, Grievous, you know, his vehicle thing, the round spindly thing with legs, that worked because he's that kind of character. Some of them, it didn't work as much. So there's a long answer for you. What figures do you keep on your desk at arm's reach? So I'm going to pull a few more of these out. So they're more within eye reach for inspiration than hand reach, but I get your drift. So this guy's always pretty much next to me. This is Captain Shark. What is it, from the Brave line? Somebody correct me. Somebody knows, I'm sure. This is the epitome of an awesome transforming figure to me. Not for its articulation or, you know, anything else, but it is a giant mechanical shark that turns into a guy with a captain's hat and a patch. And there's a hook. He's got a hook hand that can also be applied here, and projectiles, I think, were hooks. I could just see the stories, you know, the guns up here. Just look at this character, and I want to know more about it. I want to know more stories about it. I want to know, you know, to me, that is the perfect type of Transformer that kind of has a form, says what it is, does what it does. Really cool. And it's a big mechanical shark when it transforms. All right. Brave Goldrand. And another thing about this guy, which was crazy, is in that same line, and I gave this thing away a long time ago. There was a big black locomotive Transformer that also could go on this dude's shoulder. These little, I think these things here, you could plug into these things there. And it was like a way oversized shoulder cannon bazooka thing, which was my kind of outrageous. So that's one thing that's always very, very, very near to me. This one I got, it's a funny little story. So I've had this guy, Ed209, for quite a while. This is my personal item. I got this on my birthday when I was 16 years old. My girlfriend at the time in high school got this for me. I know we are a PG show, but she gave me this toy, and we also had a nice evening. So, really fun item to still have, and then to go to Kenner and work with the people who Ham Woodhouse, who made some of this stuff, and they were able to have made cap-based toys back then. For those of you who do not know, some of the youngins out there, I don't know which way this goes. I don't want to break it, but this element opens up, and you put a roll of caps in there, red caps, and then as this button is pulled back, it snaps and makes quite a bit of louder noise as well as kind of a smoky smell in the air, right? So so yeah, I'd buy that for $1. Right on, brother. So yeah, I've always had this in my office. What else did I pull out? Oh, and then for the crowd here, I've always had this guy around. So this is one I got at a BotCon, but I had this one as a kid. I always liked what is it, Psycho? This item. But if you look really close at this item, I'm gonna put it up there. If you notice anything peculiar about it, is that it is perfect and has no scratches. That's because Jen Manning in the shop took this bad boy apart and, like Toy Story 3, pulled out the old tools and re-chromed everything, painted it back up, fixed the sticker, and gave me a mint Psycho. So this thing is near and dear to my heart too. So this is this was a GoBot. Well, easiest answer here, Ninjatron. You can correct us here, as well as Matt, if you're in the chat. So the easiest answer is this is Psycho from GoBots, this was the larger scale, okay, and kind of transforms by kind of cracking, and that's a big head, and his legs fold out, and that's his chest, So that's the kind of GoBot he was. Now, it was originally from the anime Cobra, I believe, and he's actually in there with the gun arm. He's sitting in there. So this is one of those deals where this was an existing transforming type item that Bandai, I guess, or Tonka put out as a GoBot. I don't know the full story on that, but that's in general. Yeah, Super GoBots. There you go. Yeah, so mine is, I look at mine and it's all, no scuffs and scratches, and I just laugh because, I'm not trying to pass it off as mint in box kind of thing, but I just like having a really old toy that doesn't look old, and also that I don't have to worry about entirely feeling bad if I do eventually get a scratch on it. Mega XLR. Was that cartoon on like Cartoon Network, like a big blue robot, kind of rock and roll style sword? If that's the one I'm thinking of. So a Tonka GoBot was restored by a Kenner Hasbro shop. Wild. Yes, that's exactly what happened. Originally, the chrome on it was really bad. You could see the white underneath, and I wanted her to, because when you chrome stuff, you send a bunch of stuff to get chromed, and it gets chromed by the chroming house, because that's done outside of the office. And so I just wanted those parts to be added to the next batch, kind of thing, if possible. And she kind of really went the extra mile and helped me out, and that was cool. Space Adventure Cobra. Hey, I at least got the Cobra right, though. Come on. But the car did not turn into the robot in the anime. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay, so that wasn't even part of the anime, huh? That's crazy. Yeah. Hey, Joto36, thank you. Yeah, it's good to be back. Yeah, so I don't even, I know Cobra, I just know the art, and, like I know Galgo 13 or whatever that, just some of the weird stuff that we got here in America through some odd video game launches, sometimes stuff would come over. But I don't know the full story of Cobra. Yeah, so that you always got to imagine, especially at that time, Japan had made so many toys in the 60s and 70s, let's say. That was really interesting, fun stuff. It was just regional, that they were, if I think about it fairly, from Micronauts on, and even before that probably, it's just an open mind of opportunity to bring those toys out in different ways and new ways and repackage them. And that's what Micronauts is, that's what Transformers was. There were certainly other brands that did it. So yeah, you got to really look at these old toys and go, okay, what was the origin of that? Why? And let's talk about it. Like the second generation of Insecticons, Bombast, or you know who I'm talking about. Why do they look totally different than the first generation of Insecticons? Well, they were like two different companies, and Omega Supreme's a little weird and different. Well, that was a whole different company, and so was Skylynx, and so on and so forth. They weren't all Takara. Jetfire was Bandai item, right? So GoBots falls a little bit under this too, and you can look and go, oh, why is this a little different? Oh, it's not actually the same people who brought you the other stuff. So what was their angle? Oh, it's from some other TV show, or it's just opportunistic mold use. But it's fun for us, for the digestion of it. We can all be Japanese plastic scholars, right? The cards that came with the old Energon toys, was there ever supposed to be a game on those cards? No, I never had to deal with that, thankfully. But if I was on the Star Wars team or some of the other teams, yeah, that definitely would have been a big deal. We were so focused on communicating the transforming play and how to transform and not confuse anybody, that adding a game complexity on it just was not something that we ever thought of. Yeah, so it can get tricky. Did I pull anything else out? That is, I think, about it. I showed you the Stormtrooper. So let's see here. I'm going to try to make sense of this. Get to see the ugly underbelly of the office. But put this guy right over here. Does he show up? Yeah, he does show up. Yeah, so maybe I will have to put the light on him. But that's where that guy's gonna live for a while. So it's almost midnight, so I think we did pretty good tonight. Thank you, Shoddy, for the £2 super chat. Appreciate you. I will try to do this again, not on Monday, because that is Christmas. But we will look to do it maybe next Thursday as well. Be sure to check out archermonster.com for the latest artwork and whatnot. I'm getting some other stuff up there. If you want to check out the archermonster_creative on Instagram, that's where you see stuff automatically first, and then you can go see when it hits the store. If you're so interested, I still have the sketchbooks for sale. Probably a little late to get them out for Christmas, but never too late. So I do a little sketch on the inside. For an extra few dollars, you can get a custom character. Otherwise, it's a little just Optimus. So you can check that out at archermonster.com. And I appreciate that. Merry Christmas to everybody. Thanks for being here. Trying to hit an hour and a half. We got a few minutes maybe. That's another thing. Yeah, we would never have expected kids to buy so many of those things that you'd be able to make a game. So that would have been a bit maddening. Okay, I'll keep an eye out. T-Farmers 2002. I appreciate everybody being here. Ninjatron, Timu, Windcharger, Coltron, Baron. Got everybody tonight. Appreciate you, Shoddy. Good conversations as usual. So a lot of fun. Now I got to clean up my office and figure out how to get this stuff back in that box. But I hope everybody has a good weekend, and I'll see you when I see you. Probably Saturday on the year end. We didn't even talk about Toys of the Year. That's my vote. That's my vote. All right. And with that, Merry Christmas, everybody. I appreciate you. Thank you.